All right, so you've worked up your upper body. It was push day, it was pull day, it was chest day, it was all of those days that we love. It got you jacked, you're all pumped up, but you gotta stretch it. Your shoulders are very important to stay mobile and to stay into place. You don't want this to happen if your chest is tight, or you don't want your shoulders to be up here if your traps are tight. You want to get that nice and down and into position so that your longevity and your mobility stays okay, that your joints are healthy. So stretching your upper back is super important. And the routine we're going to do right now is going to help you stretch most of the muscles in your upper back at once. So don't really stress about whether you did a pull or a push day. We're going to work on most of them now. I'm going to do a separate video for your lats and that pull, because there is a little bit of nuance with it, and I'm going to help myself by using some machines. So this is just going to be the first part of your upper body stretch. And with upper body starts in your forearms. You lift at weights, your forearms are going to be tight. So let's start with the forearms first. One hand is going to come to the palm of the opposite hand, and by extending your elbow, you're going to reach out to really extend that forearm. Also think about pressing against your hand, so almost like doing this, pressing for 3, 2, 1, release, to really release that forearm. Other way, the upper part of your forearm also gets strained, so yes, you do stretch that too. If you want a deeper stretch, you can make a little fist and release, and both sides. Other way. Now let's moving on to shoulders. The first one, which you've probably seen, is this one, but things I want you to really pay attention to. Your thumb. Your thumb should be down. It should not be up. Make it down so that you're really focusing on stretching your posterior delt, and bring the shoulder down. You don't want it as an earring. Nobody wants a shoulder earring. Keep it nice and down and away from your ear. That way you're also stretching part of your trap. In that exercise, you can also think about doing little circles with this wrist. It might help with that movement if you're too tight, but really think about that internal rotation there. Second one that we're going to do is your triceps. So think about bringing the palm of your hand right behind the shoulder. So none of this cross-body nonsense. Same behind the same shoulder and bringing it up. I'm going to turn sideways so that you're looking at my forearm too, because it's really important what's happening with your back at this point. When you're stretching your triceps, if you are arching your back to make it look like you're more vertical, you're doing the same thing. As I've explained in the lower body videos, you're keeping your triceps short. You're not really extending them to where you want them to be. So hyperextending your back to make it look like it's vertical is not helping you. You really want to almost keep your upper back round, and then think about stretching using your other arm to reach behind that same shoulder. That is really going to stretch your tricep at that point. And while we're doing that, I want to be efficient with that stretch and add a stretch with the other arm too. So by reaching the opposite arm, if you can interlace your hands, great. If not, that's okay. You can use a little towel, you can use an elastic band, you can use a yoga strap, you can use a shirt, it doesn't matter to do this. But what that's going to help with is it's also going to help with your anterior shoulder, in my case, my right, this guy. I'm efficiently stretching my tricep up here and the front of my shoulder on the other side. Other side, because we obviously always stretch both sides, keeping that shoulder down, my thumb down towards the floor, taking a few deep breaths and reaching up and over, keeping that spine rounded and not extended, reaching with the opposite arm as well. And now let's think about stretching your traps, your neck, and your mid delt, or your upper delt, really your main delt there. So think about reaching your head sideways, but now I'm also going to reach that same arm behind the body and pull just underneath the elbow away from the neck. That is really going to feel great on the neck, but it's also going to feel nice on your delt. The more you stretch that side, you're really stretching this entire kinetic chain in your upper body, which is great. And looking towards your armpit, that's going to stretch a different part of your trap. Be nice and gentle with that pull. It's your neck, and it's very important to stay healthy. Other side. You're likely going to find that there's a side that's much tighter than the other, and that's okay. That's just simply because one side is usually stronger in certain movements than the other. So usually what your better push side is going to be your worst pulling side. And now stretching your rhomboids and your upper back, interlacing your fingers together away from you and reaching towards a wall in front of you. But also, if somebody were pulling you from behind, so it's almost like my hands are going away from me, but also my chest is going away from the center, both at the same time, that's also going to help stretch your upper center of the back and your rhomboids. It's going to stretch your shoulders. It's going to stretch your triceps. And now I'm going to turn this way to show you the last one for your biceps. Interlacing your fingers behind you, thumbs down, interlacing. Try to keep your wrists together. A lot of people can't, and that's okay. But as long as your thumbs are down, that is good. But think about reaching up, as high up as you can. That is going to help stretch your biceps. The only way to stretch your biceps is by reaching behind you with your thumb down. I'm going to show you an alternative, and you're going to find this in your lat or in your pull motion stretching video as well. And that is a routine to stretch your upper body.